Welcome back, Pokemon collectors, buyers, sellers, resellers, anything. I hope you're not a reseller. I hope you are a collector. You better be a damn collector. Now, I'm going to show off some PSA cards. It's going to be a little bit of fun. I might put some quirky little noises in here and there. Remember, I am Steve the Cat, and I love Pokemon, to be honest. Now, common questions that I get asked. I'm going to answer them. How much do these cost you, Steve? Well, roughly each PSA grade is 27 Australian dollars. So after the grading cost, the shipping cost, me shipping it to them, the import fees, everything else added up, it all cost around $27. I hope that can clear it up. So yeah, it does seem like a lot, right? Oh, 4 cards, $100. Another 4 cards, $100. Adds up quite fast. It's a pretty high expense game. It's very, very, how do I explain this? It's extremely high, like, risk, I guess, because you are spending a lot to put cards in plastic. But if you can find a way to sell the cards and meet the cards with buyers, collectors, whoever else in between, it can be incredibly rewarding, and that's why I do it. Started off, we got this Starmie from Heart Gold. It's moving around a little bit too much. What's going on? Shake, shake, shake. Do-do-do-do-do. Beautiful artwork. Let me know how the microphone is. Let me know how it sounds. Let me know if I'm being too loud. I kind of put on like a little bit of a microphone YouTube voice, and it's not really like I normally sound. But maybe I'm putting on my normal voice right now. This is what I sound like. I guess it's pretty much the same. So let me know how it sounds. Let me know how this new camera's going. The automatic focus on it's beautiful. Wow, this artwork. Mahau. Beautiful. Got a bunch of 10s on my Hard Gold collection cards. So prices. Roughly $80 to $130 on most of these non-holos. Some of them, like, we pull out this one here. Flareon Dark Rush. Probably price this one around $150, I guess. I have a few Flareons from Dark Rush, but I don't like to sell evolutions that cheap because they kind of just always sell out. So got this Sunflora, something like this, probably around $100. Spinarak, probably $80. Skiploom, Sunkern, bunch of cool Pokemon. Most of these I don't actually plan selling within a year. You know, I'm going to list them on my store. PSA 9 Stantler. It's going to be around $35, $40. I list them, and then that's it. I just forget, to be honest. I just list the cards, and I forget. There's really not much more to it. I put them up for whatever price I feel like, and then there might be a buyer. Usually I go through my store every 3, 6, 9, 12 months and just lower prices. But I don't really think lowering prices is ever the best idea on like kind of niche stuff, because it's more about finding the right buyer. It's not really about the current price. So of course anyone would buy this Obama Snow at $1, because a $1 PSA 10 is probably worth buying, but that's not really the goal. The goal is to just put it out for a certain price, probably around $100, and then just wait. And I'm sure a collector of Obama Snow is out there somewhere, because Pokemon is rather large, and it will happen. So we've got the Hail, Blizzard, Sneasel. Now, these black and white cards are quite hard to grade. They usually have lots of chipping left and right. This one is, wow, this is so clean. These packs are getting up there in price too, like easily over $100 each for some of these sets. It's kind of scary to think, you know, what's going to happen when X and Y, already $1,000 a box for some of these things. It's going to be harder and harder to find these cards gem in. I don't know what I'm going to do. 2 different XY and Black and White Eevee. This Dark Rush Eevee is one of my favorites. So it's so cute. It's done by Mahau again. That's the person from earlier. So a bunch of Dark Rush cards coming back. Dark Rush Espeon, Dark Rush Jolteon. Wow, 10s on everything. Wow, Bandit Ring. Vaporeon. I must have just sent a whole bunch of evolutions. 2 of these, and yeah, people can sit there and say this is a Vaporeon done by Kurosaki. What do we got? A Mantine in the back. I don't know what that is in the distance, but yeah. Whatever, the niche stuff, you know, this isn't really, you couldn't grade like 1,000 of these and put them up and they'll sell through like the most recent Modern Japanese promo, but there's definitely a few buyers out there that just want to get their favorite card by their favorite artist or their favorite artwork in gem-mint condition, and that's all I try to do. That's the main thing. I'm not planning on quick flipping any of this stuff. The amount of time and effort it takes to get some of these back in 10s is quite large, like just scouring the internet and hoping and praying that you get it in good condition when you receive it in the mail. So we've got that Vaporeon, now we've got the Jolteon. by Ryo. Zekrom EX Battle Starter Deck. Pretty sweet. Oh, now we're on to some Shining Darkness cards. We've got the Sharpedo. Damn, it looks good. Tensugamori, baby. Got this Camille. Oh, wow. Oh, we've got another Leafeon, so I'm thinking you get 2 in this battle deck. Also, Mythical Dream Shine cards. So sometimes when I grade some cards, I'll grade multiple. So I got 2 of this Torchic. Pretty sweet. Put one up for a little bit cheaper. So I might start my first one around like $70. Because, you know, this is really just a non-holo common from XY5. Bit edgeware, that's kind of sad. But still PSA 10. So I'll put my first one up for 70. And then like I might sell one and relist it for like 85, 90. And that's kind of like how my brain works. And roughly after like shipping fees, everything, probably around $25. So usually the idea is like I spend $27 to grade a card. I try and find niche cards like this Coughing that don't have many graded. I can kind of like not have anyone to compete with. And even though I'm showing them to all you guys, and the thousands, you know, sometimes 1,000 people watch a video, and that's I'm creating potential 1,000 people to be like, hey, is that Coughing sellable? Man, if you get this Coughing and you graded PSA 10, you undercut me, I'm happy. I'm happy for you. I'm extremely happy. You know, if you can expand your collection by grading some cards and selling them for some profit and buying more cards, that's perfectly fine with me. It doesn't really bother me. So that's why I don't mind showing everything I'm doing, because at the end of the day, if you have a lower price than me, you have a better service than me, everything all around, you deserve that sale. You know, not a lot of people don't want to show the things they're doing, and I fully understand that, because, you know, the money is important to you and you want to kind of like hold that information to yourself so you can benefit from it. And there's nothing wrong with that. People do it every day all across the world. They do it with cooking recipes, and they do it with business ideas, and they do it with all these other things and these big business moves. But me personally, I've kind of gotten to the point where it doesn't really bother me anymore. I'm just showing off my cards. Most of these, I really hope you don't try to copy, because these take like months and months to sell. Some of them, I've listed cards from 2 years ago that haven't sold. PSA 10s, $50 to $80. But that's fine. I got time on my side. Nothing but time. My store's going to sit there, and if one day I do choose to sell them, I will just mark them down to the grade cost, and I'll just call it there. Perfectly fine. So we've got the Smeargle. Looks like a Fukuda. Yeah, it is. Oh, Pidgeot, Fukuda. Wow. Pretty nice colors there. Oh, this has to be in a reader. There's no way there's not. Look at this artwork. Absolutely so nice. Oh, it is in a reader. Nice. Woo! Who did this one? Let me know if you can guess. That's, what is that, an Electrike? Oh, Manectric. Right, yeah, sorry. Mana Eevee. I've never seen that name before. Got the Sceptile. Standing. Got Trico by Tokia. This is a really good one. Oh, Imakuni? What is he doing? Wow, he's still got it. Look at that rosette pattern. How much can this camera zoom? Wow. Look at that. So the rosette pattern, they call that, is like printed on trading cards, I guess. Just like these little circles called rosette pattern, mainly popularized by the Magic of the Gathering cards. At least as far as I'm aware. So this is a bunch of Trico Grovyle cards. The Piplup Mewtwo Level X PSA 9. Midori Hirata. Wow. So a bunch of these, we've seen them before. I think that's the biggest issue with like grading a lot of the same errors. Is like, there's only so many cards in Secret of the Lakes. Like, there's only so many cards in the Diamond and Pearl series. You can only get like one of every card. So eventually I might run out of cards to grade and run out of cards to stock. But that is my overall goal. I want to have like one of every single PSA 10. Oops, I just heard a huge crash outside. Oh, 5 cats is too much. It's too much, and they're very silly. No words, honestly. This artwork is so good. Wow. Oh, I love this one. I think this is like in the game Heart Gold Soul Silver, where you like climb down a a ladder and there is a slowpoke there. One of my friends told me that, so don't hate me if that's wrong, but what's going on here? There's a little bit of unknown. So I hope your day's doing pretty good. Like my day's pretty good. I'm just winding down, making some videos, gonna sort these cards out, list them. All pretty much the same. I think I might extend this video up a little bit after we've shown all the grades, and I'll show you how I do all my sorting and we'll go into it. It's going to be a bit of a longer video, so sorry if you have time, but Rattata and a Lugia V9. So these kind of modern promos, this is roughly like $10 to $15. I'll grade a few of them. I'll just put them as multi-quantity on my store. Like I said earlier, I only need to really make like $20 to $25 per card. Hopefully I can make that. I'll just put them at whatever price. And then, yeah, whatever that cost me, probably $70, $80. Hopefully people who want Lugia cards, PSA 10, can buy it off me. If they don't want them, they're just going to sit for a long time. You know, buying graded cards is pretty popular these days. I think it's becoming more popular than like binder collecting, as binder collecting doesn't really seem to be like a thing with these sets being like so huge. Like there's Mom's Kindness, PSA 9, pretty sad, but that is what it is. So we got the Bagon, Holon Research Tower, and the Muck, Shining Darkness. Wow. That's peak artwork of the 2007. It's kind of crazy. It's got a Beedrill G, sorry. Sandslash 9, Advent of Arceus 9, Rapidash. Some of these 9s are pretty fickle, to be honest. I mean, there's a tiny bit of edgeware here and there, but I've had cards much, much worse. Is what it is. See, that's pretty bad. Edgeware like across the corners. I think they should kind of like leave that alone a little bit because that's like from the cutters, but proper edgeware on the actual edges of the card, that's perfectly fine. So we've got the Ponyta. Oh, Ponyta, Rapidash. 4 in a row. Kazuki Gulpin, PSA 8. Oh no. So I got my top down lights on and my desk lamp on. So you can see this one and you can see my top down lights. And it kind of makes it easier for me to show the cards off, to be honest. So you can see here, right here, there's a bend on that corner. Just gotta watch for that. Whether it was me or someone else, who knows, but Nidorino, Kecleon, Curlia, Trico. PSA 8 on the Trico. Grass Fire deck. That's rough. Most of these cards are like non-holos and they just get 8s. So again, same sort of thing. They just get 8s. I kind of just list them for like $20 Australian on my store. That's with free shipping too. So, you know, this is probably, if you're in Australia, you get free shipping. Internationally, you don't get free shipping. But, you know, this is probably, I'll lose like $13, $14. But that's the risk, you know, grading. This is why grading is so exciting, because there is risk involved. I think, wow, that Munchlax multi-level X pack, that's awesome. I don't even remember seeing that. There's a bunch of 8s on these cards. Wow, this grader must have hated me. Bunch of hair. Oh man. You know, I've had a pretty good day. I mean, I recorded an earlier video where I kind of ranted a little bit about someone asking me like where I source my cards from, and it's still a question that I'm trying to work out how I should address it in the future, because if I keep going with the YouTube videos, if I keep showing cards off, it's just going to come up more and more and more and more, and I don't want it to like dull my own personal experience. So we got some Pioneers. That's some modern cards now. So we got some Shibuya Pikachus, South Pikachu. This is one of the best cards. This is one of those cards that comes out, it's like $1, and now it's like $25, $30, and it's actually crazy because like you could actually buy this card in like the 100 to 3 million quantities at $1, and it goes to show that time is the biggest killer. You know, like, it doesn't matter really how good you are at this, but if you're willing to just set things back, let time happen, you will win. I think it's a general. I have another video coming out soon It will be titled How to Get Expensive Cards for Cheap. And the main crutch of the video will be time. So most cards that are expensive these days, they weren't expensive once upon a time. Paris. Wow. I truly believe this camera does look good now. So look at this Machoke. You know, time heals all wounds, time fixes everything, but you know, can't even begin to think of how many cards I can remember that were in like 2012. It was a certain price. Ooh, PSA 10 tag bolt Psyduck. That's a good one. It's like in 2012 it was a certain price, and in 2015 it was a certain price. 2018 a certain price, and it probably just got incrementally more expensive. And you can say, oh, Oddish Temple of Anger. Now this is a good one. I have a guy that buys every Oddish off me. So he's going to be very happy the fact that I list this, because this is one of the ones he's been chasing. He's an Oddish collector. Very odd, but loves his Oddish. Man loves his Oddish. But yeah, time is just, you know, crazy. I mean, most of the cards that I have now that are expensive are just because of time. Very little went into it. I mean, the ability to hold the item is a skill in itself, but if you set your life up in a certain way that you don't have to sell all the items you own instantly, I think time is one of the best things anyone can ask for. So we got the Cynthia's Feelings, Temple of Anger, pretty nice card. Got the Yanmar. So a bunch of, is it Anger or is it Anger? Am I saying Anger? Temple of Anger. Should I talk in like an Australian accent? Does anyone want that? I mean, you know, I don't really enjoy the Australian accent that much, but wow, this Poliwrath is beautiful. Would have loved to get a 10 on that, but it's fine. We'll get the 10 on the Crawdon instead. Oh, the cast form. Ah, PSA 9 on the Kazuki. Poliwhirl. 10 on the Seadra Temple of Anger. Bloody hell, mate. Temple of Anger. So with the Lantern and the Lantern 9s. It is crazy. I mean, I'm trying my best with these. You can see these are pretty good condition, and I'm getting 9. So, whew, don't copy me. Don't try to grade mass non-holos, because a few 9s will bankrupt you if you really need the money back from submissions fast. Not a good idea to do stuff like this. Very silly. What do we got? Oh, not too bad. Larvitar 10, Beat of the Frontier, Breloom 10. Okay, well, we're picking up. You know, we're picking up. Let's get the rest of the stack over here. I'll show you what we're looking at. You know, like, I filmed a video before. Let me go here. Filmed a video before. I already did all these. And now I'm doing the other half, because I cannot talk for like 40 minutes straight constantly all the time, because I do kind of run out of things to say. I still am only getting used to this whole like YouTube thing and talking and kind of being in a, I wouldn't say I'm in the limelight, but I'm definitely like interacting with people that I never normally would, and they're depending on me to put on a good show or answer some questions or help them out with something, because I've said that I would, and I will help you out, but I'm still getting used to it. You know, I'm not a professional, I'm not a trained anything. Like I said, I'm a cat and I'm doing my best. So Sandslash, Beat of the Frontier. Look at that artwork. He's jumping out of the ground. Hemeno, beautiful. What did I miss? We got Nidoqueen, we missed. Another Larvitar. So we've got a Magmar, Paris, Meowth. Wow, lots of 10s now. So we rain 10s and we rain 9s. I guess so. Swablu, Clash of the Blue Sky. Vigoroth, Clash of the Blue Sky. This must be a reader. Oh, he's up there. That was easy for me to guess. Meowth, Holland Research Tower. Oh, Yukimori, Snorunt. Okay, I'll be the first to say this phone's camera is absolutely beautiful. Just for like showing off this. Just the way like it absorbs all the colors and everything. Medicham is a weird Pokemon, to be honest. Oh, we got another Miracle Desert Psyduck. Miracle Desert Psyduck. Beautiful. We got the Smoochum Shiny Darks. We got the Bagon. Holland Research Tower. We got 2 of those, I think. So, 1 more stack to go, or 2 more stacks. Oh, kind of made a blunder in my mouse pad here. I need to get like a huge desk mouse pad. I wish there was someone that like did stuff with me, and I could just be like, hey, give me a mouse pad, and it would just appear. That would be awesome, right? Anyone would want to have that, but got this constructed deck, Centret by Tomokazu Kamiya. This is by the same constructed deck. This must be some new constructed deck. That is a beautiful artwork. There is a Plusle as well in this, so hopefully we have the Plusle in the PSA 10. We got 10 Croconaw Dragon Frontiers, 10 Electro Dragon Frontiers. Dragon Frontiers 10s are like, I mean, look at this. This is why they're hard. Look at this corner. This is not okay. I don't know what's going on in this corner. Did they damage my corner? There is like a piece of card that's like, that's so silly. A piece of card that's like come off. Must have thought it was still a 10. That's kind of funny to look at, to be honest. Oh, another Croconaw 10. Oh, two of these are not the same. Let's look at the 7. See what's wrong with it. I can't see anything wrong with it. Yeah, if you saw something, let me know. If not, I don't know. Looks pretty good to me. No dent, no scratches, no anything. No edge wear that I can see. I mean, a bit of edge wear on this top left, but okay, 7. 5? What the heck? See, this card's bent. You see that really easily. See it right here on my finger on top of the M. Yeah, it's bent. Okay, that's bad. Maybe the other card had a bend similar. So we got the 10. Oh, we did get a 10 on Dratini. Look at these two artworks. This must be what? Kamiya and Saito. Just amazing. Space-Time Creation Magnezone. Space-Time Creation Dusknoir PSA 10. It's got some hollows back. That's pretty cool. These might be right from my... I think these are actually from my booster box that I opened and I didn't film. I think they're actually from the booster box. I opened it and I filmed all the grades that I got, and these cards are stuck in this bulk return still, unfortunately. So I got the Magmortar Holo. You probably haven't seen that return yet, or maybe you have seen the booster box Space-Time Distortion return. Those 5 cards were still in that return and I forgot to put them in. Wow, Celebi, Secret of the Lakes. It's a very good card by Himeno. Big swell in the top. Wow, these are beautiful. Wow, look at the holo on this one. That's cracked. Oh, this one goes like all through the bottom. Swampert Moonlight Pursuit. Wow. Moonlit Pursuit, actually. Got the Bronzong, Secret of the Lakes. Let's see what's on left-hand pile. Pidgeotto, Charizard starter deck. Houndour. Maybe I pre-sorted these into like 8s and 9s and 10s already. Because it's very obvious that all these cards are just 8s and 9s. I might have just done that while I was just like not paying attention. Look at this Kamiya Forret. That's so good. So look at the Vibrava, Holon Last. I mean, this is kind of the realistic feeling of the non-holo grading feelings. You just don't always get a 10. But I've sold, I'll be honest, I will be really honest. I have sold a few non-holo 9s for around 40 Australian. And after the free shipping and the eBay fee, 40 Australian gets me to around $3 profit. And that is not too bad, because back in the day when grading wasn't as popular, it was pretty much 10 or bust. And I think we're almost back to that. We're back in the 10 or bust. So if you didn't get the 10, your card is basically like grading price plus raw price. And you know, I don't think that's great, to be honest, because a lot of these cards are very hard to find in mint still, but that's perfectly fine. If the people who want to spend the money want the 10s, you know, as someone who sells the cards and grades them, I'm obviously going to hope that people want to get 9s. Or they want to like buy my 9s. But that isn't always the case. You know, I'm obviously biased. Just remember, everything I say in here about grading is usually pro grading because I'm obviously biased because I use it to like sell and buy more. But at the end of the day, if I was to tell someone about graded cards, I would tell you don't buy 10s. I would tell you definitely just buy 9s because you're just like guaranteeing you get a mint card. I mean, it's just how it is. So, like I said earlier, we got everything finished. I'm gonna get out of my chair, stand back a bit. Just gonna take a sip. There we go, just to sip some water. And here's what I do. This is what the aftermath really looks like. Once I turn the cameras off, I take all my clothes off. I get completely naked, and then I just grab the cards. Pretty simple. I just put them into... How can I do this without exposing myself? Literally exposing myself. I just get the cards, and I just put them into color, pretty much. I mean... You know, a lot of people will be like, oh, Steve, I want to be like you. I just want to be like, you know, I want to sell cards full time. It's awesome. You get to buy so many cards. I'm going to be honest. As a card collector that also sells cards full time, it really sucks. Sometimes, you know, it's great sometimes, but let's put this aircon on because it's quite hot. It's great sometimes. You know, it's completely rewarding. Like you make a good purchase and, you know, your purchase ends up working out and the cards you get are really good condition and you grade them and you get some 10s and all these other things in between, and it feels amazing. You know, like maybe someone reaches out to you and it's just like, oh, Steve, I got my childhood binder, you know, and then you buy it and you get an interaction out of that way, and they can be happy because they can buy off someone that like isn't a scumbag and you can just give them like a market value rate. Or you can get heaps of other interactions and be like, Steve, you know, Coughing's my favorite Pokemon. Me too, but do you have any PSA 10s of this Coughing? And I'm like, oh yeah, I do actually. I just graded some. I'll list it soon. And then you list it and they buy it and you get like a big interaction there. And it can be extremely rewarding, and it can also be extremely financially rewarding, you know, whenever we go through crazy boom times. Because usually in Pokemon, we don't just go through craziness. It's usually slow and steady. Slow rises. We've been on a pretty steady rise since like mid-2019. So if COVID never happened, I do strongly believe that a lot of these prices probably would have reached this already. We just wouldn't have huge things going crazy up and crazy down and crazy sideways. But, you know, there is times where if you're holding cards, if you're collecting cards, there are some things that do go up in value and it does feel really good. But most of the time, for me, as a card seller, full-time, most people, anyone that sells cards full-time should tell you this. They shouldn't like sugarcoat it or... Sorry for moving the camera so much. They shouldn't sugarcoat it or make it seem like it's better than it really is, but it's kind of boring. You know, I just sit here for like... You know, most days is at least 10 hours. Now with the YouTube added in, sometimes like I can't... You know, I film the videos. Mainly I fill them really fast as soon as I get the grades in. So then I can start touching the cards, because usually I want to make it completely like unfiltered, no checking all the grades or checking as many as I should before I get them, and then I just go through the grades with you guys, give you my like genuine reaction, give you my genuine, you know, I'm not going to be like one of those streamers or whatever. They go like this, like they get the card and be like, this is what we got, and oh, you know, when they already know what they got on the grade on the card and they just like lose their mind. I'm never going to do that, because, you know, that's not what interested me. That doesn't interest me. I don't need to make content like that. Like maybe like, I don't know, I'm extremely happy with where the channel is right now. You know, if I can just stay roughly with how it is, I'm really happy. It's growing slowly. You know, it's feeling pretty good. Getting a bunch of like interactions here and there. But anyone that tells you, sorry, back to the main point, anyone that tells you full-time card selling is like super awesome, you're basically just doing like, how do I explain this? You're basically just doing mundane, simple tasks over and over again. I mean, there is no like, you know, you don't get to handle super rare cards all the time because they're really expensive, and they usually can't be sold at such great margins because transaction fees exist and you can't find them super easily. And I don't know, I'm not trying to turn you off from like living your dream, anyone out there, but I genuinely think a proper card store on eBay, so someone who just does it on the side. I would never really say like, oh, I do cards on the side, because that kind of sounds like it's not serious. What I would say is like, yes, I have an eBay store. It's not on the side. It's not a side hustle. It's not a side anything. I collect Pokemon. I enjoy Pokemon. I love Pokemon. All this other stuff. And you list like 30 cards a day for sale, and you might sell like 5 to 10. Hopefully, if you have good prices and good pictures and good titles and good everything. And you know, I will make videos in the future and how to teach you how to do all those things, but it's yeah, I definitely do think it's better for someone who just has a full-time job or a part-time job or anything else in between, and you spend time bettering your work life just so then you can buy more cards. I think if you really truly realize as a card store, you are forced to sell cards, and it is not a good feeling. A lot of these non-holders, I would love to just keep them. Like, no joke, regardless if I can buy more and grade more and sell them and make profit, I would love to just keep all the 10s I get. And then just keep them forever and hold them until I die and all this other stuff, because it's genuinely a lot of effort that goes in, and there's a lot of my love that goes into these cards. And, you know, when people buy them off me, I make sure I pack them super correctly. I don't skimp on packaging. It's lots of bubble wrap. It's lots of cardboard. It's lots of everything. Nothing is cut corners. Like, I'm showing high definition pictures back and forward. You know, I'm always sending extra pictures to people that want to see them. I'm handling the cards with care most of the time. It's really like a passion project for me. It's not like a get rich quick flip kind of thing. It's I just love it. I mean, you know, a lot of you guys are 25 to 34. It's pretty much like 70% of viewers are 25 to 34. So you're not like short attention span. Give me the quick way how to do things. It's more of a, I'm telling you right now, stay in the whatever work you're doing, stay in school, dedicate more time than you usually would to building your side things. You know, I genuinely think money, yes, money can be made in Pokemon. Not on the short term, on the long term, over time, buying stuff you like, holding it, enjoying it. And then eventually you will reap the rewards and you'll be able to sell those things and then buy more things you like. That's the basic, that's the truth of it. That's how I feel. You know, that's what I did for about 5 years, except for my first 5 years, I really loved Pokemon, but like I could always understand the fact that I could never keep that much because I just didn't have any money. You know, even on year 4 of me buying and selling cards, my yearly total, I think, year 2014 is when I started. I think the first year I sold 6,000, and I sold a lot of quantity. I think I have a picture somewhere of my old 60-day eBay total, because they didn't have 90 days back then. They had 60-day eBay totals. And that was like, it was like 60-day total, $2,700 in sales, and it was like 1,100 cards sold. I mean, can you imagine 1,100 cards sold for like 2,700 in sales or whatever I said? I just can't even. It was a different time back then. I mean, it was crazy. I was selling cards for $1 plus shipping on eBay, and that's all I did. And I would have shipping at $1, and if they bought 2 cards, I would get an extra like 40, 50 cents because of the transaction fees. And I was so excited when people bought 2 cards. They bought 10 cards, I would make like $8, and that would feel really good. You know, 1 card purchases, I would just lose money, but you know, when they started buying multiple things, and that's all I did. I would just buy more cards and list them for $1, and over and over and over and over again. My passion was always like the selling part because I really enjoyed it, but over time I realized like, hey, you're not going to get these cards back. You keep selling them, and some cards I would buy them at $20, I would sell them at $50, and then the market price was like $60 a few months later, and I was like, why am I keep selling these cards when I can't even buy them for the price I sold them? And that's when I started being like, okay, I think it's time to really figure out what we're doing here and start collecting. And that's when late 2019 happened, and early, late 2019, early 2020, and then pretty much when I first started collecting is when COVID happened, and You know, I didn't first start collecting them, but it was like mid to late 2019. And then, you know, as I was getting into it, I was really enjoying it. And then COVID happened. And that's when I started picking up all like my Poncho cards and a bunch of Scream cards and, you know, whatever. And then big booms happened and I've sold, then I bought, then I bought, then I sold. And I can't even remember most of 2020, honestly. It was a terrible time in life because like I had family with financial issues and like I moved back in with some family to help cover their bills and I had time away from my girlfriend and, you know, even myself personally, I was quit my job and I was like, well, I don't think people are going to really want Pokemon cards that much if the world ends from a virus. So I sold off a bunch of Pokemon cards that I was collecting because I thought I tried to do the smart adult thing and keep some cards on the side. And, you know, I'm not going to say never do the smart adult thing. I think this card has some hair stuck in it. Does that not look like hair? It is hair. Thanks for that, PSA. But, yeah, like I'm saying, stay employed. Unless you have, like, so much money and you don't even need to work. But I would say just be very careful because, like, a lot of people have a lot of money and then they're like, this is easy, you know, I don't want to keep working. And then they quit their job. And, you know, good on them. I'm very happy for them. I think it's great to be able to be financially free with paid off bills, like no credit card debts, all those other things, no car loans, and maybe just a little bit of a mortgage left to pay. It's perfectly fine. Hopefully I can get there someday. You know, I still have a very large mortgage, like over $500,000. You know, I'm still doing my best. I'm still deeply leveraged because I have to pay for bills and pay for everything all the time and cover family expenses and make sure my life's livable as well and all those other things. But just remember, once that paycheck stops coming in, this reality sets in and it's like, whoa. And that's why I tell people, like, knowing, like, when they ask me, this is all going to wrap around into where do I buy cards from? I swear to God, this is what's going to happen every single video from now on. But it's like, knowledge is just crazy. I mean, if you're collecting, and a lot of people just want to get cards and they want to get them cheaper, that's perfectly fine. But just, you know, you're always searching for cards to buy. And if you know this Larvitar, this is actually quite an expensive PSA 10. This is roughly like 150 to 200 because the Holland Research Towers are really hard to grade because the centering is always really bad. The 2 Dragon Frontier sets are really bad. But it's just, if you're, you know, searching in the wild and you know of a card that sells for a lot and the seller might have it a little bit underpriced, that's your chance, you know? You know, everyone gets it. Everyone gets little breakthroughs. What am I doing here? That's why before you make any big moves or big changes in life, just make sure you fully have the knowledge of what's going to happen. Ask people that are in the situation that you want to be in. Like, okay, what do you recommend? You know, I wouldn't really go in and delve deep with like your full life story and everything because no one can really give you a proper help. But if you learn how to like word questions properly and you go, someone comes to me and they're like, hey Steve, what regrets do you have after quitting your job? And then like that's a like after quitting your job and going full time, that's an insanely good question compared to like, hey Steve, I have X and Y in my life, I have this much money in my bank account, I have this many bills every month, you know, I really want to start flipping Pokemon full time. Do you think I should quit my job? That's like, even though the other one's way more detailed, the first one is so much better of a question because that can relate to your situation incredibly well. It's, you know, it's not the same. So this is pretty cool. I can just sit here and rant and do all this. Another 40-minute video, I guess. But you can see here, most of the cards I grade are like water, colorless, and grass. They just dominate. Barely any dark type Pokemon. So yeah, just I just want you to use me, to be honest. Just use the hell out of me, you know? I'm willing to. I'm sitting here saying, you can use me. It doesn't bother me. Use me for the questions, but try to word the questions in a way that I can give like a pretty detailed... no. That always sucks when that happens. I can give a pretty detailed answer without like, you know, it kind of being like purely financially based. Because like I've said many times, I'm a cat and I do not want to be the cause of your money. But if you can ask me questions, I can help you out and it will feel pretty good. So You might think there's a lot of cards he's sorting that he didn't show in the video. Well, it's because they're part of another return video. And I don't really know if anyone even watches all the way to the end here. I'll probably stop doing super long videos because, you know, it's not that I, like, you know, don't want to talk for a long time or don't want to help people. I want the videos to be at least benefiting someone. So if I can have like 20-minute videos that everyone watches to the end and they can get a lot of information out of, rather than like people clicking on them and be like, 40 minutes, he's just ranting. It's sort of like one of those things. I might as well get some people listening to the 20-minute rants rather than 40-minute rants. So, but if there's at least one of you out there, we will say Turtwig in the comments, and I will respond with like a smiley face or something, but that will let me know that someone actually goes all the way into these videos, because I feel personally like I have a wealth of experience when it comes to buying and selling. Even if I'm not the best, even if I don't even touch English cards, even if I don't sell all these sealed booster boxes and sealed products, I don't speculate, I don't make investing noises, and I don't do this and I don't do that. Even with all those reasons, I really do think I have a plethora of knowledge that I can help you with, as I am probably one of the biggest sellers in the world of Pokemon trading cards, so I have a little bit of an idea more than most. And with that, I bid you farewell. My throat is officially fried. Peace. I don't know why I did that, to be honest. Have a great day.